Hello and welcome back to another Fun and Devs build video. This is the second members only video, where today we will be building the MiG-25. So what I'm doing right now is building the engines. These are monstrously big engines, very fuel hungry engines. They will be able to push the plane to pretty good speeds, considering how big the aircraft will end up being. So you see me putting a lot of general processing cards in right now, and that's because the missiles, I wanted them to be remote guided, because I thought that would be the most effective, since I've done that on most of my other planes. But in the end I ended up switching away from that and to a sort of mix of infrared and radar missiles. As you can see now, I am placing in pictures here to trace after. This is something I normally do. I also did for the assertion build. This is a very useful way of building replicas. Also in scale. I don't quite remember what scale I built this at. But here you see me put in the different missile controllers. The radar one started being remote guided, but ended up being actual radar seekers. And now just quickly placing in the missiles. And while we look at me editing these missiles, I'll just say a huge thank you to all of you who support my channel this way. I know it's been a very long time since I've uploaded another members only build video, and you guys, I am so grateful that you are staying with me and actually paying and waiting for me. I know I have a very bad schedule. Things have been really messy these couple of months, so not really an excuse, but you know, just something to explain myself with. Yeah. And now I place in the last thing for tracing, so I can get the widths and how much the wings bend and the dihedral and how tall the tail planes need to be. The actual building of, the functional building of the plane was pretty easy and only took me about an hour. The decoing, however, took me so long, it burnt me out. That's also why this video is so late. I think I took like a 3-week break from just any from the depths after starting to build this, just because it was so horrible trying to build this thing or deco it in. You would really think that basically a box of wings would be easy to do, but absolutely not. Especially those intakes it has, they prove pretty problematic. And the exhaust, oh my god, the exhaust. Yes, like on all my other planes, I actually use external wings. I know a lot of really mesa builders, they don't use external wings. They just deco them in and hide the actual wings and control surfaces and stuff in the actual plane, but I don't like doing that. It's a little too cheaty for my taste. And also here we can see just how much internal space I actually have due to me trying to build it in actual size and not just placing the radar really far behind, really far back, and just decoing in the front. I don't know why I did that. It really impacted the performance in the end. But I mean, large aircraft in real life and also here in From the Depths. But yeah, as you can see, it really didn't take a long time for me to get the actual structural parts and the all the working bits that you need for a plane. It didn't take me too long. Just goddamn decoing. This plane, it's... I mean, it's not a great dogfighter by any means. Those missiles, they are not maneuverable, and this plane is not really that maneuverable either, but it does feel a niche of being very fast, and those missiles are incredibly deadly, so for intercepting bombers and stuff, it's pretty good. And also, I did test them against some Great Talents airships, and they did prove themselves to be rather useful against the lighter ones, unlike the MiG-21s, which did basically nothing. And here I was experimenting with maybe placing in some smaller missiles, R-60 MKs. As I thought that the MiG-25 had the possibility of doing this in real life. Pretty quickly found out it didn't. It really didn't, so I ended up removing that after a while. And now setting up the roll controls, yes, I did put them in the middle of the wing instead of on the leading edges because of where the center of mass and lift is. And now doing some testing of the flight systems. Here I tried setting up a thrust vectoring system. I don't think I actually used all of it. I had both pitch, roll, and yaw set up. Here it's only pitch, and I think also yaw, yes. And I tried roll here. When I did that, it just broke, and it just couldn't fly properly. So I won't be doing that again for any of my planes. When I controlled myself, it worked pretty well. But the AI just cannot figure it out for some reason. Yeah, also, like, maybe if I say 20 hours was used after this recording on just fiddling about and decoing, I don't think that would be a total lie. It really took a long time to get right, and it's still not quite like it's not quite the most optimized fighter ever. It still does go into the water sometimes, but it has a pretty good chance of getting out of it again for some reason. I did not plan that, but it just happens. And now we see the AI just not being able to fly properly. I tried fiddling with all of the control surfaces, but in the end I just... Well, first off, I started removing the yaw. I think that helped a little. But in the end, I think I only kept the pitch thrust vectoring. I don't know if you noticed, but it goes about 160, which, now that I look at it, isn't really that fast. I think the MiGs are... They are a little faster, yes. Oh, well, no, the MiG-21s, they are a bit lower. At 152, maybe. I think the MiG-25 here ended up going about 162. About 10 meters faster. 10 meters a second faster. And like when I first got built, the MiG-25 couldn't really fight the MiG-21s. But I did end up making it so they could actually win against the MiG-21s. And now I'm actually starting to deco in some of the structure. It was really difficult to get all the skills right and stuff. And in the end, I don't really think it looks quite like it should. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks like a MiG-25 until you look at the details and the exhausts. Sure as hell handles it like one. And now I am placing in the wings. pretty straightforward this time. When I built the MiG-21, I didn't use this tracing system. I don't know why. I was just a little silly there. So I had to do all of the placing, like all of the angling myself by like eye measurements, which was really painful. That luckily wasn't the case here. I did redesign the wings, maybe 5 times here, which is less than the MiG-21, which I redesigned. I say 7 times, maybe 8 times. I don't think it would be a lie. Also, the only moving parts, like moving control surfaces, will be the elevators. On the MiG-25, funnily enough, they were pitching and rolling. They control both, so I did mimic that. I didn't do it with... you won't see it on this recording, I think, but for the elevators, I had both a primary elevator that was actually deco hidden, and later I added like a smaller, basically just a pivot, which was the visual part of it. I did think about making the main ones, like the actual large ones. I did think about making those the ones that you could see, but I went away from that because it just looked wrong. They were too high up. And now for me struggling with the exhaust system. I couldn't get the skills right because, you know, there is no color on these traces here. I did have a 3D model open on my second monitor, but yeah, it was still difficult. And now for some preliminary combat testing. As you can see, these missiles, they are not really that effective. I did change them afterwards, but yeah, they are not maneuverable enough, not even close. And also some wobbling from the MiG-25, sorry. Yeah, I really had to fiddle with the PID a lot here. And also, I will make 2 different versions of the MiG-25. Kinda. One will have this gray monotone color that we all know and love, and one will have a camouflage. I saw some pictures of MiG-25 using camouflage colors, so I thought, hey, that would be pretty cool, and that would break up the pretty boring colors here. But building recording is soon finished, so I will see you soon I'll see you soon at least. Alright, and here it is, fully decoed and fully operational. This is the MiG-25P. This thing is armed with, as you saw in the construction video, 4 really, really big missiles. Oh, black spike, I am sorry, I don't know what happened there. It goes at a comfortable 169 meters a second. I realized just before making this video that I had put an intake wrongly, so it had 25% clearance instead of 100. So I fixed that, and that put the speed up to 169. This thing cost almost 52,000 materials, double the cost of a MiG-21. But the speed should be able to make up for that. Also, it has actual active evasion, which the MiG-21 doesn't, I think. I probably shouldn't spawn in something for it to fight, but I will do it anyways. We know what happened last time with the Shershon video. So, if we spawn in a MiG-21, the thing it's meant to maybe not replace, but at least help. It doesn't have any guns, just like in real life. I don't think that was any of our missiles. But yeah, as you can see, it's basically, yeah, it has a custom camo that can easily be taken off, and it will have that original gray color. Just go into camouflage textures and remove these. Oh, of course, that was the wrong one. I am very sorry about that. There we go. Now it's in that classic gray color. So, if you prefer this over the camouflage version, this is how you do it. Also, the camouflage is on imgers, so you might have, if you are from Great Britain, you might have problems getting access to it. Yes, this has been a very fun build. It should be very strong against the Great Talon's airships, at least in cost-equal fights, as these things are really quick, hard to hit, and hit hard with these humongous missiles. All in all, a very successful build that will be used in actual frontline service, unlike the Shershons that one of them accidentally got nuked multiple times. Yeah, as with the Shershon, you can find the download link on my Discord server. Well, the blueprint file you can find on my Discord server. I'll see you all in the next video I make. Bye bye!